There it goes.
Go, get in! All right, everybody. I think we're safe.
Jesus H. Christ. What the heck are those things?
Listen here, buddy. This shit is far more wild than you could ever imagine. Are you sure you want to know what's going on here?
Look, do you know how much garbage I've seen going through your trash?
Actually, I do. Speaking of which, did you happen to find a nondescript baggie of, rock candy in last week's haul? I think I might have thrown it out by accident.
I don't search the bags. I just throw them in that Wait, wasn't there another guy with us?
I'm hit. Well, he wasn't that great of a character anyway.
I hate to be a bother, but what are we to do now? We cannot stay sheltered inside this building forever.
I still have no idea what's going on.
All right. Fine, Mr. Asked a Bajillion Questions. Here's your answer. We fucked up.
How insightful. Care to elaborate?
Agatha, why don't you take this one? You're better at telling tales than I am anyway. Ooh, I wish I had some popcorn for this.
As you wish. 'Twas not more than a moon ago. I was toiling away below the rock and earth, returning the dead from whence they came. For hours I took the innards of another and bestowed upon them a new life. A stitch here, a cut there, and at last my creation was complete.
What is she talking?
Shut up, trash face, the lady's talking.
As I was saying, I had finally designed the perfect reanimation. The final step was to call upon the powers of the infinite gloom. Alas, 'twas all for naught when this man stormed into my dwelling with ill tidings. He claimed to have been in a pursuit with local authorities and required a location to mask his candy, as was declared earlier. Oh, for the maker's sake.
Jesus
Can
Christ,
you
shut
not?
the deck holster
I can't
underneath
hear
your nose.
anything.
I can't help it. Besides, none of this makes any sense.
So, Derek, if you would let this tale unfold, you will understand. Now, I kindly request that you shut the fuck up. My apologies. I just enjoy good storytelling.
That was metal. I knew I chose you for cock breath for a reason.
May I continue?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
My puissance waned for yet a moment. With the gloom's almighty energy channeling through me, I sought to grant last rites to my subject. The ground shook beneath my feet. The wind howled with the call of 1,000 famished wolves. Lightning poured out from the clouds above and desecrated cities below. And then, Lady Hasna appeared before us.
Aren't you gonna say anything?
What do you...
Stop interrupting, Derek.
Are you kidding me? Where did you even get that gun?
Everyone knows that a drug businessman always carries 4 guns on them. Anywho, go on, Agatha.
You never cease to amuse, Zack. The young princess sensed the darkness surrounding my little experiment and denounced my handiwork, citing that there were better ways of bringing happiness into a child's existence.
Death metal. It's death metal.
Still bleeding here.
Her Majesty claimed that through the power of music, anything was possible. So, her and the cowboy belted out a melody so vile, so putrid, even I could not handle it. I could not concentrate on the words that the gloom was speaking to me. And yet, for a moment, I felt that I did not need them. I channeled my anguish, my lament, into the malnourished body. I burned my suffering and nightmares into the back of its skull. Every dark memory I'd ever lived, every sinister ordeal I'd ever been through, the bleak future yet to come, all of it came to fruition as the tortured and malignant being stood back on its feet and took the first breath of a life anew.
I'm really struggling here. I can feel my leg.
Oh, God. Still not catching on, feller? All right, let me sum it up for you. I put a bunch of meth inside of a teddy bear, Agatha did a bunch of crazy-ass blood magic, Hazen and I got down with the sickness, and boom! Teddy bear zombies.
But why?
I've said all there is to
I'm
say.
not trained
so
for this.
what else is
Matthew
there
said
to
anything
This
about
isn't
meth.
in
I
my
don't
job
have any meth. I'm a
description.
recovering meth addict. I'm totally fine. I'm clean. So what do you think of that, garbage man? Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, I know. It's pretty awesome. Now then, how about we all get out here and see what the situation is outside?
Sir Zach, I think Derek is...
Okay, y'all, I don't normally do this, but I'm gonna let y'all use one of my guns. Just make sure y'all know who or what you're shooting at, all right?
Zach, you have a spot of blood on your boot.
Oh, God damn it, that is disgusting. Come on, Derek, was that really necessary? Derek? Wouldn't be the first time, I guess. Agatha, care to, do your thing?
Fugio. Fugio. Nihilm iam disimulo. Pectoria restero. At deloras exclaudio. It's no use. I've never attempted to bring back a human soul before.
Well, you tried your best. Now, let's do what we, and by we, I mean I, do best. Shoot shit!
Do you wanna be my friend?
Oh my God, would you fucking zip it?
Hello,
Eat my dick.
Oh, piss, look out!
Blood everywhere!
Agatha, fuck! I mean, duh!
Bring it on.
Ah!
Ha!
Hands up behind you! Whew! I think that was all of them. Well, now what?
To anyone who can hear this, proceed to ColdRead Hospital for evacuation. Repeat, proceed to ColdRead Hospital for evacuation.
Well, what do you say, folks? On to our next adventure?
Being around the sick and dead has always made me feel right at home.
That's the spirit. Speaking of spirits, did I ever tell you guys about the time that I actually punched a ghost? It was fucking epic, man. I was like, hey, it's your boy, where are you at? And they said, die. And all of a sudden this dude popped up and was like, and so I did what I do naturally and punched it right in the dick.
After 3 millennia, I have awakened, and with my army at my disposal, this world shall crumble at its core. Ow. Why does my foot hurt so much?
Holy crap.
Yay! Oh my god, that's great, Eldurrino!
Oh my gosh, Eldurrino.
Ah!
Awesome
You're
work.
not the only one that can create a trilogy.
Oh, okay.
The
I
gauntlet
see,
has been
I see.
thrown.
Mm-hmm.
Competition, I see.
I will stay out of this rivalry. I'm just gonna say that now.
You and me both. We'll be like the grandma and grandpa of this crew,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
And then I'll do one using this particular voice. Hello, everybody.
So welcome everybody who's listening. Welcome everybody who's here to Cold Read the Podcast. This is a voice actors podcast. Whether you are here live on twitch.tv/Zamoody or watching us on YouTube or anywhere where you get your podcast, welcome aboard. Wonderful intro again by Road to Eldurrino. Raising the bar, and you guys, you need to knock it off, really, because shit.
Never. That bar's going straight to the Andromeda universe, whatever it's called.
I have to give 2 quick shout outs.
Yeah.
One to Renara for her amazing
Agatha.
story.
So good.
Just general creepiness of her voice.
Thank you.
The
I still got
laugh when
shivers
she was
from it.
fighting too. Oh my gosh.
Secondly, massive shout out to Burnham, who, along with myself, provided a lot of the zombie noises. If anybody needs a monster for any voice acting project, hire that man.
Oh, yes,
he
please.
is amazing at them, and I was blown away when he gave me his stuff. So, yeah. Also, I hope everyone caught a lot of their references to Left 4 Dead. Phasmophobia, and also Zamoody's original first project thing with the I'm hit.
Oh god damn it.
Oh, that was very cool.
Yeah, so Mason got eaten. Yeah,
The Angry but
from
Renara
the
was
original.
amazing.
Yeah.
Nice.
So my gosh, how do we follow that up? Let's just dive right in, because as usual what we do is we say hello to everybody. So let's check in with the other side of the world. And Renara, how has your week been, or your last 2 weeks, really, we should say?
Last 2 weeks, if anyone hasn't seen Twitter, it wasn't good. I'm laughing, but it was supposed to be my rest after burning out a couple of weeks ago, and it just turned into trial after trial. I had a bomb threat to my house. I had somebody. I had a student almost attack me. I had to stop them from attacking another student, so I had to stand right in front of them, and they were this close in front of my face, and it was scary as hell because they were taller than me. And then I had an interesting experience with the director, which wasn't this week, it was last week that it happened, but I am ready and raring to talk about it because I think it left me feeling quite uncomfortable, and after talking to you guys about it, I then realized, oh wait, that uncomfortable feeling was genuine. It wasn't just me going ooh. So yeah, no, other than that, I mean, yeah, take what you will from that. I mean, I've been given more retakes for Skywind because they've added more lines, because they keep just adding more lines.
Not a bad thing.
So, like, I have 6 retakes because of I think we've got there's the way certain words are said between like American English and English. There's a bit of confusion, so there's only a couple of those, but the rest of them are brand new lines that they've just implemented. So I'm there going, oh okay, it's slowly getting shorter and shorter, but I'm happy to have the work. I'm happy and excited for it to eventually be finished.
Nice.
So there's me.
I'm glad you're here. Glad you're in a better mood, because I know, you've been talking about how crappy things have been. So we're all very appreciative that you're here today.
100%.
I have decided that if I'm gonna I decided that I'm not going to stay in a rut. I decided if I just keep staying in this rut, nothing's going to happen. So I just made the conscious decision of, this is going to be tough, but I don't care. I'm stepping out of this, and it took so much energy to do it. But today's been good. I ordered some shields, like some Viking shields so I'm excited for those. So I'm just taking those proactive steps of, I'm not going to stay stuck in a rut. I've had my time. Things can only get better from here. Just keep one foot in front of the other. Just keep going on. So
Nice.
that's that thing.
Well, very cool. Well, glad that you're here, and hopefully everything gets a little bit better. Pashley, how's your side?
TLDR is I interviewed for a new job this week, which was really exciting. It was pay range that I'm looking more for, and
Nice.
it's benefits that I'm looking for, and all sorts of things. And it would be full time. So yeah, that could have massive impact on my streaming content creation schedule. But here we are. We have to live a real life and make real money and support ourselves in a real way. So that was very, very exciting. And then last night we tried to do karaoke and it was a disaster. So yeah, to do karaoke without words and without functioning mics. So
Yikes.
That's when you freestyle it. You just go for it at that point.
I mean, when you're drunk enough, you just kind of do it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm able to just like kind of laugh it off, but it was like Brian was in the middle of, like I was just saying this before, he was in the middle of the disturbed sound of silence, and it was like the last verse, and it was like, I love it when he sings it, and then the mic cut out, and I was like, fucking A, dude. And this guy said, oh, I've never KJ'd before, and I'm like, but you don't need to be a KJ to have functioning mics.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Am I the only person here that doesn't know what KJ is?
It's karaoke jockey.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So there's
gotcha.
like a DJ and then the KJ. Like,
that works.
so I don't know. But yeah, no, it's good. It's, yeah.
Mother's Day went well, hopefully.
Yeah, I sat on the couch. We watched Stargate, James Bond, Casino Royale, and a couple of
Nice.
That's all I wanted to do was just sit around and watch movies. So.
Hey,
There
your
you go.
day. Do what you want.
Indeed.
Yeah,
Good
exactly.
on
I did have ambitions of like going out to the Shenandoah Mountains and like going for a drive, and I'm like, nah, not today.
Never
I'm
mind.
getting old. Anyway, yeah, so that's what we got.
Very cool.
Nice.
Eldurrino, how was your week?
Well, the past 2 weeks have
Yeah.
been a lot more all over the place than usual. See if I can remember everything that's been happening. So last weekend, we celebrated Mother's Day with my girlfriend's parents anyways. So that was fun.
I thought you had something to say.
Sorry?
You were saying celebrating Mother's Day with my girlfriend, and then there was like kind of a ... And I'm like, you have something to tell us?
My girlfriend's parents. No, God, no.
Meg?
So that was enjoyable. And then I got to chat with my mom. For those who don't know, I'm originally from Minnesota, so my family is about 1,100 miles away from me currently. So I just talked with her for like an hour and got her like a nice little at-home foot spa thing, which she absolutely appreciates because she has had a knee replaced. So she's very thrilled to be able to kind of like rest herself and pamper herself and whatnot. So that was exciting. Afterwards, it was also Meg's birthday last weekend. And so we went to an undisclosed area and gambled a bunch of money away. And so that was enjoyable. We got to like do go-karts and did some shopping and was basically drunk for like 3 days straight, so that was cool. And then so then we came back. After we came back, I really tried to like go hard on getting more voice acting done because I had been kind of slacking over the past week or two. So pretty much every night was either recording lines for the project that I'm doing, recording lines for auditions, or working on today's intro.
Mm-hmm.
I was super busy, but I submitted the lines for that project that I mentioned a couple weeks ago. As far as I'm aware, everything's been going fine. He also asked that I audition for other characters for a different project he's doing, which would be it would be more speaking. This one has about 600 words for me. The other one had more like 1,500. So, and he wants me to do multiple roles if I can handle it. So, 1,500 times 2 or 3 would be pretty cool. So I have to still submit the auditions for them, but so I'm excited to do that. Also got my first experience with doing a dub for anime. That was fun.
It is.
It was definitely a lot different because trying to keep like one eye on the animation, the other on the script, a little challenging, but overall, I think I did pretty well. I would usually just like I would play the clip, in one straight shot, record the lines, and then go back over it and play the audio and the video at the same time to keep the Japanese dialogue muted, and then just kind of pay attention, make sure the words matched up with the lip flaps. So, so I submitted those. The guy said he's really happy with them. He still wants me to do more for other side characters
Excellent.
in there. So, yeah, so I'm gonna keep doing that. Probably finish that up tonight. Yeah, that's it. No, I'm not having a baby.
Did Meg? Because I know Meg. He is Kickinator, right? Who was?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's that same anime project that I started like at the beginning of the year. Though I finally finished all my lines. Did Meg get involved? Because I know he was looking for an actress too.
So we were discussing it. She thought it could be fun to do, but the problem is she's still in her master's program and she has school starting again on Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
So that between that and her full-time job, she doesn't feel like she can make a good time commitment. Obviously, if it's something small, she might be able to, but I'm guessing that she's probably just not going to. She doesn't want to feel pressured into it, because I mean, the classes that she has coming up are like super difficult. They haven't even started class yet, and they're already expected to read like 4 chapters out of their book before Tuesday. So, so it's probably going to be a little bit nutty. But I don't know. We'll see.
So let me catch up real quick in chat. Looks like Burnham wants some shields, so you may have to share a link there if you want to put it in the.
I can. It's cool. It's unfortunate. It's a UK based one that I got it from, so I have no idea if they ship to the US. It's called The Night Shop, which is a HEMA, like a proper HEMA historically accurate site. They make plate armor, like historically accurate plate armor, along with different weapons, Roman, Greek, Viking, everything, shields, different parts of the armor, you name it. They're a bit limited on what they give, but it's well worth it and a lot cheaper than what you would find on Etsy. So
Gotcha.
So Grimm told me about it, so then I then looked on it, and so if I can find the link somewhere,
I'm sure if you can just put it in the Discord somewhere, that he'll be able to find it.
I'll do that whilst you guys are talking.
No problem.
I forgot one minor detail about my past 2 weeks. Pepsi Blue is back, baby.
Go.
So so I've had like 3 bottles of that so far, and I plan on drinking as much as I possibly can.
Everybody to Google.
Send it to me.
Pepsi Blue is a berry flavored cola that was released in 2001, I want to say.
Okay.
It is a staple of my childhood, and nostalgia shit. It's really good though.
Interesting.
Is this the same Pepsi that turned up in that weird Japanese game with Pepsi Man? Or am I? Okay, fine.
No, that was just general Pepsi.
Fair.
All
Okay.
right. 1,100 miles, a minor inconvenience for most Americans. Thought this was regular anime, but it was me. Theo. Huh. Okay. So. Oh, how do you tell? Well, my last 2 weeks have been on the rougher side, I will admit. Fiscal month end, because I do work for the county, or fiscal year end. So I work for the county. We're starting to set up for all of that. So work has been pretty tremendously difficult, to the point where like I get home and I barely want to do anything. So as far as voice acting goes, I haven't really been able to do much.
Yeah.
I had that big old job from voices.com. I'm in the process of actually pulling out of that job because I just don't see myself being able to have time until after this fiscal month end stuff or fiscal year end stuff stops, because I can't. They wanted like a rewrite from within like 12 hours, and it's like, no, I need to sleep. So that's just not going to happen. So I pulled out of that, but I think they're renegotiating, trying to get me back in it. In addition to that, eye soldier surgery has been set for June 2nd.
Okay.
So that's actually may end up buying me a little time to do this project afterwards. So now I'm aiming for that. So we'll see. I had an experience with Fiverr. I've somewhat talked about it, but I think it's going to be something that we're going to bring up in this particular topic. And I also met a fellow streamer.
Pause while he rolls away from his
I
mic.
roll away from my mic and show this on camera.
The roll.
Oh wait, I think I saw you.
Yeah.
I saw. Yeah.
So this is Orange Uglats who's done co-hosting with us here. So
It's so cute.
Absolute legend among us.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're gonna be doing a thing for his birthday, which is coming up in June, and that's gonna be a lot of fun. So there's some stuff to look forward to. I mean, that was pretty much like the highlight of my week outside of like family time. But yeah, we'll talk about that here in just a second. I did want to take an opportunity because I love the role that we're having. So Pashley's Castle.
Yeah. We'll do this because the kiddo's out with his dad. Princess-Pashley Castle. It's a sweet one.
There you go. Love it.
You need to make a proper jingle we can play.
No, I know. I didn't get around to like thinking about it because this week was so crazy, and I'm like, oh, my son's not here.
Oh.
The focus of this week, I think, should be tongue and all the trouble it can cause us as vocal producers, singers, etc., etc. And I think every voice actor should step into the booth with their tongue in full relaxation. Now, it's a much broader thing. It's not as much of an inconvenience if your tongue is tense as a voice actor, because sometimes that can lend to a character, right? Still, it'll make your life much harder. And also, like, think about it this way. If you put your hand on a drum, it'll deafen, kind of the impact of the sound the drum makes. That's kind of what tongue tension sounds like in the voice. But also, I think it's just, even if you are going in for an ugly, grovelly voice, or your character is tense from head to toe, I think it's a good idea to have a good hygiene with this. But I do this in every single voice lesson. I take my tongue and I do I clean the outside of my teeth. Yeah. You do it a couple times. It's really, really effective. If you find yourself getting really tense and you want to gauge, or you're the type of person who needs tactile input in order to gain that awareness. Yeah. If you put your finger here while you're speaking, it should feel very...
It disappears in my beard,
That's just tense. Why?
Well, the point is it shouldn't be.
Oh, well, that's what it's like normally for me. I think I'm just tense constantly.
Oh, no. I don't want to bring up more anxiety for this.
No, it's fine. It's okay.
It is a good gauge to bring awareness. See,
it's
even
not
right
something,
now, I'm like, oh my God, I'm very tense while I'm speaking. So those are my vocal protection.
It's not
tips.
It's not something that you'd think about as well. I was just sort of like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. The other thing I like to do is like a
Okay, for those of you on a podcast, what Pashley did is hold her cheeks with both hands, and then was kind of like half of her tongue was being pushed out, but her bottom lip was holding it together. Check it out on YouTube because this is really hard to describe.
Dip the tongue tucked in between the bottom lip and the front of your teeth, and pushing out the base of your tongue out your mouth.
Closer to how an Italian would pronounce their glide, the it's kind of neutralizing the Italians are really, really great vocal producers. The language is so beautiful for it.
Hence opera.
The birthplace of opera. So anyway, just
Very
a few
cool.
tips, tricks.
Yeah.
This has been another session of Pashley's Castle.
It's
it muted. That's fine.
The curse of the karaoke DJ has followed you.
David Attenborough quality narration. Whoa.
Oh yes.
So let's get to the topic at hand. So this particular week I wanted to talk about all the negative experiences that we've encountered, either on the production side or on the actual recording side. So at the end of the podcast 2 weeks ago, let me go a little bit further back. So somebody that I've worked with before was looking for an actress. And the two people that popped into my mind was Pashley and was Renara. but they were asking for, I believe, a French accent. And
French or English or German. They were looking for European ones.
right. So
Yeah.
immediately I went for Renara. So I said, okay, great. Hey, I know this great actress. Go ahead and give her a shout out, talk to her. And it's like 11 o'clock for me, and then you two just started talking. And I just went to sleep.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this particular one, if you're okay with it. And we'll only go as far as you are.
It's cool. It's okay. It's important to talk about because I didn't recognize the uncomfortableness in my own, the red flags in my own stuff, because I have a hard time of saying like no when you're talking to a director, and I think it's super important to say no if you feel uncomfortable. And I am still learning that, but this experience helped with that. So I went into talking to him about it. He asked basically, what did I know? I said I knew the basics, and he didn't. First red flag, he didn't have the character fleshed out properly. He couldn't tell me who my character was. I kind of had to make it up myself. First red flag. He then went into immediately, before actually asking me to do any lines, he wanted me to shoot some photos for promotional posters of his thing that he wanted to use, and he gave me examples of the other actresses on his project and things he'd done with those. I looked at them and thought, okay, so my immediate thought was, okay, what poses does he want me to do? And they didn't seem too bad. It was like the sort of stereotypical like muscle thing like that, and like fighting poses. There was a couple at the end. It was one that was an old movie poster, which was taken from, I can't remember what the movie was, but it was when you've got this giant woman in scantily clad clothing, like white clothing, and she's like standing over a highway or something like that.
Is that Attack of the 50-Foot Woman or something?
Possibly, I think so. And I saw that and went, okay, as long as he doesn't want me to wear something like that, okay. He then asked me, he wanted to see my entire wardrobe. And that was when I sort of had this, that was the first, hang on a minute. But I then went, okay, as long as I just like it's just clothing. It's just clothing. Like it's not gonna harm anyone. So I was like, okay, I just took photos, hung it up, specifically edited parts of my wardrobe out. So I was like, I'm not giving him anything that wouldn't be like too bad for me at the very least. He then, once he saw that, he then picked the outfit and he picked certain things and asked me, hey, could you like show me these outfits and then I can see which one might be good for the character. Red flag numero 4 or 5, I don't know at this rate. And so I did the thing of, okay, so I'm not wearing anything revealing. I'm just going to make sure he can't see my feet, because I've had interesting experiences with people and seeing my feet before, which is annoying. So I then sent those, and then he like picked them, and then I was like, okay, so because I couldn't talk about the actual script because he was asking for these, so I didn't feel like I could butt in with that. I was like, this is the director. I'm working with this guy, and the entire way through he was saying like, if you're uncomfortable, you don't have to. Could you maybe do this? Could you maybe do that? But if not, that's fine. And my brain immediately in that moment is going, oh, but he's saying I don't have to do it. But it's that thing of almost guilt tripping me into like doing it, if you know what I mean. And I didn't.
It's a psychological thing.
Yeah, exactly.
On my stream, I am flashing that Attack of the 50-Foot Woman poster, so I have a feeling this is the one you're talking about.
He sent me.
Yeah.
And so after I then tried to push for a description of the character, I had to literally write it up myself and go, is this the type of person that you're looking for? And he was like, yeah, I guess, I think so, yeah. And I'm like, and I'm there going, if you don't know who your character is, how am I supposed to know?
And this is just causing more anxiety for you.
It is at this point, and I'm just there going, oh god, oh god, oh god. Then there were a couple of things that immediately stopped me, which was after he then sent me the full script rather than sending me lines he wanted me to do. Like I've never come across somebody who gives me the full script of something and expect like just look through it and do certain things. There was a lack of structure to the whole thing, which was just making me even more anxious. And then once because he didn't explain very clearly what he wanted. And so I did my best with what I understood from him. And then he then went, okay, this is good, but I'd like you to specifically do this scene. And that reminds me, I'd like you if possible, you'd be more there's a couple of photos I really want for these promotional things. And I think there was something along the lines of the previous people didn't want to do it. So he was going to ask me to do it. And it was
number 9 on the red flag list.
Yeah. Pretty much he wanted me to pose as if I was eating a cherry or eating something like Attack on Titan, basically. Because and then it just, at that point I went, that was the first thing I said no to. At that point I went, I'm not comfortable with that because of the environment I work in. I've got to be really careful what media is out there of me because I work in a school. And also I'm not comfortable with that because who knows how this could be misconstrued. Someone might take it and edit it differently. And he was like, I'd never do that. I'd never do that. And it was immediately like, it wasn't, he's like, I understand, but I would never do that. And I'm okay. I'm just like, okay. And it was that point where I kind of went, I need some time, give me a bit. And then I just sort of stepped away. And that was when I talked to you guys about it. And immediately everyone was like, oh, this is weird. No. And then I talked to Grimm about it. And Grimm was like, oh God, no. So then I immediately just sort of went, because I felt this obligation of, I was recommended for this. He came looking for me. He asked me to do this and stuff. So I had that inner guilt of, can I step away or all these things? And I think that's something that for at least first time voice actors. And one thing I noticed, looking back on hindsight, is there were no males in any of the photos. It was all women, all looking very uncomfortable and all a lot younger than me, actually, probably 18, 17 years old. And I'm there going, oh my God. I dodged the bullet slightly, but now I'm going, oh my God, are these girls okay? Because you could see the uncomfortableness in their face. And so it was just the thing of, I then said, professionally, I can't commit to this project as much as you'd like me to. I'm going to step away here and best of luck in finding someone to fill that role. Right. And a huge weight just off my shoulders. And it was one of those things of couldn't see it until it was almost blatantly obvious in my face, if you know what I mean. And it was, and it's one of those things of like, guys, look out for those red flags. If anyone's asking for promotional material or things like that, at least there's got to be a structure behind the project, because there was the entire process through this, it was like very haphazard, and it was anxiety riddling, and I wasn't sure what I was doing. He wasn't sure what he was doing. So it was a prime mixing pot for stuff to get slipped in, if you know what I mean. And it was just oof.
What doesn't really make any sense to me is that why would he be trying to get promotional material out when clearly the project isn't complete? No. Promotional material should come after the project is written out and set in stone.
Yeah. Because it was one of the first things he asked for rather than me voicing, which was really weird.
Go ahead, Pash.
Like, we always talk about, these are the red flags, and we talk about a defined list, but that list is very specific to what your stomach gurglies are telling you. And they tell you your gut is like, something doesn't feel right in your gut, always listen to it. So, and even if someone else might be more comfortable modeling with a cherry or something. Who the fuck knows? But that you shouldn't doubt yourself because you're expecting it to be an industry standard. Like, this is what's expected of me. You always measure that yourself. Yeah. And because when it comes to, I mean, this is like a lesson that, it permeates throughout, right? And when I talk to people, and particularly in relationships, they're like, oh, well, isn't this unusual? I'm like, well, does it feel unusual to you? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, then don't do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? But that's the thing. You have to know yourself. You have to know where your boundaries are. And to dovetail off of that, this project I signed up for, the person's like, well, I'm taking pictures and we're doing, it was almost the same story. And I said, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Unless I'm being paid to do that, that's the other thing. You spent all that time. You weren't paid for any of that. You
Yeah,
just take pictures and
I didn't take any photos. I didn't get.
well, the wardrobe
yeah.
stuff is what I mean.
Oh,
you
that
know.
stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so yeah, so this guy had you actually take pictures of your articles of clothing.
Oh yeah.
From your...
I had to take clothing out of my wardrobe and hang it on a white background to take photos of to send to him. And it was like, I should have seen this, but I didn't.
So
Now you know.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say now you know the gurgle, and now the next time this happens, you're like, okay, nope.
Yeah, Grimm has said
More
also for me to like, because he's got a really good, because I mean he's done acting, he's been in the acting industry like on stage and stuff, so he's got a very good sense of yes no. And is able to say yes no, and he's like if you were he's said that if I ever need to like double check something with him, just knock on his door. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, good, thank you.
Yeah,
I will do that.
Definitely.
This sort of thing. So it is nice to have that. But then again, I did talk to you guys, so I guess it's the thing of talk to someone if you don't know yourself yet, because sometimes it takes that little bit of practice and a little bit of input from other people. I mean, this is just for me because I do doubt myself a lot. I mean, I think it comes from being a woman in this industry. I think kind of because there are some things that.
Sorry.
You know.
No, I mean, I was just going to say that I think that, especially in the entertainment industry, a lot of people love to prey on the inexperienced or the naive, you know, so obviously this is a situation you've never had to deal with before, so of course, you know, someone is going to try and take advantage of that. And it was good that you started recognizing right off the bat, you know, hey, this feels really uncomfortable. And of course this goes for everyone, you know, if you feel like something is uncomfortable and you're not really sure if you want to proceed with it, but you can't make that decision yourself, don't ever be afraid to reach out to people that you know, even if they're not necessarily like doing the same career as you or have the same experience, because they will, like, if you trust them, they will give you their honest opinion on the matter. You know, like when you came to us about it, as soon as you mentioned the fact that he wanted to take pictures of you like eating, I was like, that's really disturbing and has absolutely nothing to do with voice acting. So why is this even happening?
Job description.
So let's take an opportunity to catch up on chat real quick. Burnham basically said, yeah, there's a modeling fee at this point, question mark. You know? I saw Ravenmain, the director having zero input into who or what the character is enough for me to lose all faith in a director, to be very honest. So I totally understand. Oh god, no, I get Men in Black in my head till I'm watching something, eating a sandwich, it's transcendent. Oh god. Director having zero input into who or what the character is a signal to me that the director certainly has neglected to give enough thought towards a project as a whole.
Because Grimm also said that after he read through the script, he said, this is just vor. This is just giant. No. And I'm just there going, oh God.
What is vor? I'm sorry, I'm naive.
It's a sexual fetish of someone eating something, basically. So he was just sort of like, this screams giant fetish and vor, and I'm just going, now you say that with the eating and the cherry thing, good gods, I missed a bullet there, right?
Burnham says, as Brits, we can get really bad at speaking up and being as forceful as maybe we should.
Yeah, it's a trait.
Your gut is the most sophisticated warning system ever made. That's a really good point.
Agreed.
Majestic Mojo Man, excuse me, Mr. Director, can I have the basic description of my character and how its growth arc is in this show?
Yeah, seriously.
Once again, remain in any creative endeavor, voice acting, stage acting, film acting, whatever, the best you can do is hope that all parties are entering into a project with the intent to operate in good faith. But the sad reality is some people are just shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, absolutely.
But hey, learned from it.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
trusting my gut a lot more.
So obviously the lessons here is the director does not have absolute power over you just because you're in their project. And you shouldn't feel like you have to do this in order to stay in the project. You shouldn't be there. This is a voice project. You're there for your voice.
Yeah.
Anything extra that you want to work out, that's up to you. But don't do anything you're not comfortable with.
because there is that added thing of, oh, you like, especially for probably like newer and younger voice actors than me, of, oh, I got to build my portfolio. If I don't, like, it's that thing of, is there going to be a next job? Is there going to be a next job? Because there isn't, and there's that level of anxiety of, I need this in order to further my career, but you need to look at it and go, is this going to help me? Is this going to help me? First of all, like, actually, is this character worth the energy and effort that I want to put in? And two, if I'm not comfortable in it, how are you actually going to put 100% into actually delivering those lines if you're not 100% comfortable with it? And if you think about it sort of on those lines, it gets rid of the guilt, it gets rid of the, oh, maybe if I'm uncomfortable with the project, am I going to give 100%? If not, is this going to be usable for my reel? If not, why bother doing it?
Right.
If you know what I mean. And if you put it into those sort of like, separate yourself with the product, like Pashley, like that stuck with me ever since you said that, Pashley. Like, separate yourself from the product. You've got the product that you give, and then there's yourself with the criticism and stuff. And if you can separate
Boundaries.
that, yes. And it was just sort of like, is the product I'm going to give for this project going to be my best? If not, I need to conserve my energy and put it into something that will be good for my my career and things like that. And I think that's a good way of, if at least this is me teaching myself, hey, think of it this way, this sort of thing, and getting rid of that guilt sort of thing. But yeah,
well, and there's really no problem with like holding yourself to a professional level of standards, you know, because like one of the luxuries, right? And one of the luxuries of not quite being at that level yet is you're not contractually obligated to do certain things, you know, like you can technically back out of any of these projects at any time that you wish. Yes, you will not get paid for it, but even so, like, your integrity is far more valuable than a paycheck.
And were you even getting paid in the first place, really?
No, it was free. It was a free project.
Oh, okay. Well, then there you go. Yeah, as soon as you notice that there's a problem, especially when you're doing free work, just dip right on out of there, because it is certainly not worth your time or your sanity to proceed in doing something that's going to make you uncomfortable.
And if anyone is listening and would like our feedback, we will definitely help you and give you some voice acting tips of like, hey, are you like, if you're comfortable, we will help and deal with that.
Yes.
ColdReadthePodcast@gmail.com.
Indeed.
What was that? Whoa. Okay, catching up again. Unless it's Martin Scorsese asks you to do it, then you just do it. Well, and if you're at that point, then yeah, it's different. The question is not whether is there going to be another job, but when is the next job?
True.
I like that, Fire and Brimstone.
I like that.
And the Majestic Mojo Man says you have to set your own standards. The biggest problem in Hollywood is being typecast. So if you do something, you know you should enjoy it. Of course, absolutely. And we've said it before. It's just, especially if you're building a portfolio, watch what you're putting out there, because at some point it can come back and haunt you. I've actually seen some stuff on voices.com basically saying that if you've ever played a pervert or a pedophile or anything, do not apply for this job, because obviously that image can damage who you're going to be working for. So again, something definitely to consider. So and the last thing I will say is if you're recommended for a job, don't be obligated for it. 100%. You don't have to be. So and I'm real sorry that it turned out that way, Renara, because it was my recommendation that got you there.
It's okay, because it was a learning experience, and nothing massively negative actually came out of that. Like, there's nothing long lasting coming out of that. It was a learning experience, and if anything, if I hadn't gone through it now with you guys around, like, to be able to like talk about it, it could have happened when you guys might have not been around, and I could have at the end of the day, what happened, and I'm okay. So that's the takeaway from it. So it hasn't damaged anything. So yeah, all is fine. Do not worry, Zamoody. It's okay.
Glad to hear it. So I'm going to move on to my particular one, because mine's a little bit different. So so I have a Fiverr. I had a Fiverr, I should say. I don't actually have it active anymore. I've turned it off since, only because of this particular incident. So I opened my Fiverr on stream probably about a year ago. And I didn't really see any activity out of it up until like 6 months ago. I got a couple jobs, and then it all went like super quiet again. Then all of a sudden I got this message. So this person is a YouTuber. Basically, they instead of like talking to me first, they just bought the job.
Right.
Which locks me into a contract into completing the job. Gave me a couple of examples of what to look for if you've ever watched, like, say, Watch Mojo or any kind of like overview documentary type of thing. That's what the type of job was. So, for the most part, I immediately replied, "Hey, thanks so much. I'll take a peek at it," because I have 48 hours to do it. That night, though, I was scheduled to be in the booth, so I figured, what the hell, and I went for it. It was pretty much because I offer 450 words at $5, which is terrible, but in Fiverr you start with no score, and then after a certain amount of money in jobs you get you get level 1 and then 2 and 3 and so forth. So I figured I'd start low, get some jobs, work my way up. So this guy sent me, like, my limit is 450. He sent me like 448 words, basically a page and a half.
Right.
So I'm very versed when it comes to those particular ones. I give him something and I send him back. First one tells me I need more emotion. Not trying to be harsh on you, but it sounds robotic. More excitement, sounding a little bit more energetic, perhaps more of a sarcastic tone in the funny parts. Okay, no problem. I take the feedback and I send it back, and I send it like really commercialized, like really overselling it. Hey, still very commercial. It needs to be more natural and casual vibes to it. Sends me another video as reference. And this is one video from their particular channel. I should also note that Fiverr recognizes who their VIP are. So when you look at this message, it literally says, hey, let me see if the message is still there. This person's a top buyer, a VID, provide excellent customer service to keep them coming back.
Ooh,
So the pressure's already on me to try to give him something better. So, okay, no problem. I send him another one. I send him a third one, trying to be, and keep in mind, this is his original script, his information. Obviously, he thinks some places are funny. I'm not getting it on my side. So I send him another one. And he says, hello, this sounds robotic. It really doesn't sound real to me. I'm starting to doubt if this is actually a human speaking. If I'm wrong, then you're not taking the feedback that I've kindly gave to you. There's no emotion in your tone of voice. Your character reel is amazing, but it's not at all like what I was expecting. If you are in fact making this with your voice, can you please provide me more emotion to the words? Like in your character reel, that was amazing and full of emotion. What happened here? Please. And if this is an AI, please be honest about it. Thank you. Now, as an actor,
yeah.
If I am really delivering this thing 3 times in the exact same way for him to think that it's AI, well, shit, what the fuck? What's wrong with me?
No, you've just done a really good impersonation of an AI.
Apparently.
Now you're going to be typecast.
Oh god.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Just the audacity is all I can think a little bit. Because the thing is, the first red flag for me is he just paid you straight away, and it was
he started the process straight away. Not even talking to me. Not even.
It feels like this guy or he or she or whoever just went. Like they just, what's the word? They didn't shop around. They didn't engage with you. They didn't ask you, hey, like, because if they heard something from your character reel, it would have been maybe nice if they could point that out and go, that's really cool.
Right.
Then that could have given you something to go with.
Yeah.
But then if he's just sending you these videos, and it's just sort of like, he obviously wants something super specific that's in his mind that might not be what you're good for, and so he's just gone in expecting you to do that without telling you to, in a way.
And as Burnham is saying right now in chat, he said more emotion, and then it said more casual.
Yeah, so, contradictions, and it was just it felt to me, just listening to that, it felt like it was because, and when you said VIP, part of me went, oh god, this guy thinks he's entitled slightly.
Yes.
And that then it just sort of screamed at me, and it's just sort of like, this it seems to me that he expected something that he expected you to know exactly what he wanted without providing you like adequate stuff. Yes, he sent you links, but he didn't say maybe like this part here, or specifically this word here, or
Exactly.
helping with the actual maybe direction of it, which might have been like, because it might have been small things that could that he's literally like listening for, but he's not giving you that information, and he's just expecting you to deal with it in a way. And
yeah, because normally when you do a retake, it's like, okay, and this part I didn't like it, go ahead and try it in a different way. This guy wouldn't do that. This guy would just say, hey, more emotion. I'd have to give the whole fucking thing over again.
Right.
And these are like, because it's the amount of words, it's like 4 or 5 minutes worth of stuff. And then, as we've talked about before, when you're recording something, it takes about 3 times the amount of time in editing to get a finished product.
yeah.
Right.
It's also like
Yeah.
there's a personality. My boss is like this, and which is why I'm applying at other jobs where I'm getting emails at 9 o'clock at night where someone has counted the children and the color of the children's skin after giving me a 12-hour window to create an email newsletter for them for their big fundraiser. And like literally just looking for reasons to be negative. Like some people just crave picking at others.
Right.
You know, it's
Right.
toxic.
Yeah.
This is just kind of my 2 cents, but from my own personal experience the past 6 months, some people are like that, and you just got to distance yourself, because if it's going back and forth, it's literally just jerking you around, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Right.
and I don't work well with people like that. I don't.
Just because he's paid you doesn't mean you
Keep in mind, he
you have
hasn't
to
at this point.
accept- Oh, right.
So
you
money
could've-
money
yeah,
goes into like a holding bank until the
Yeah.
job is completed. But
So that's great, because you could just go, you know what? No, like you don't have to deal with that.
so here's the next problem.
Oh god, here
Fiverr
we go.
penalizes you for canceling a job, even if it's a
Which
Which doesn't make
mutual,
any sense.
even if it's a mutual cancellation. Fiverr will penalize you, and that's one of the reasons why I've shut down my Fiverr right now. It's because my rating when it comes to, let me open this over here, just so I'm saying the thing right. So you're rated in 3 different parts when it comes to your particular gigs.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to that point. Apologies. So, okay, so response time, delivery on time, and order completion. Those are the 3 things that Fiverr will rate you on. My order of completion dropped to 0
Right.
because of
Right.
this. So
Yeah.
for 60 days, I will carry a 0 on my Fiverr because I canceled the job. And even as you're canceling, Fiverr's like, hey, are you sure you want to do this? Because this is going to really reflect negatively on you.
All right.
At
You
the
know,
same
that's-
time, no, go ahead.
Screw you, man.
I was just gonna say that I find that aspect of that site to be a little ridiculous. Like, reviews should be based on the customer, not on the actual business. You know, like I understand they're probably wanting to make it a little bit easier on both parties, so that you don't have to be like, hey, if you liked what I put out, could you give me a rating, yada yada, and then they either go forward with it or they just don't do it at all. But at the same time, I like that model a lot better, because then that way it's honest. Like, the details of this whole fiasco aren't going to be present. It's not going to be out there for people to see. You can't just say, yeah, well, this guy was being, kind of a stickler on what he wanted and refused to accept anything I was giving him, so I had to cancel the job. Nobody's going to know that. All they're going to see is, oh, you haven't completed any orders, even though you had, however many requests. I don't agree with that, and I'm really glad that you told this story, because I was thinking about getting something set up on Fiverr as well. I did not know that aspect, that it automatically rates you based on delivery time and project success or completion. So
Right.
yeah, so it lets me know that I'm probably going to stay away from it.
I agree with Burnham in chat. It's work, not a social media game. Show where you want a high score.
Right. So the other thing, on a completed job, you actually still get the 5-star rating. And in reality, in Fiverr, if you don't have 5 stars, you're not going to get much work. So it's still like you are bending over backwards to try to please the customer, to make sure that you get that 5-star, because if you don't, it's the end of that account. So
and all this for $5.
And all of this for $5.
That's not right.
No.
I mean, You literally put in multiple hours of work for $5. That's less than minimum wage. Like,
Oh,
that's
100%.
not okay.
So,
Nope.
buyer beware when it comes to this. So we ended up supposedly amicably stepping away from each other. And then, but Fiverr did do that thing. And if you look at my account, my order completion, because it's percentage based, it is now 0%. So I'm not going to keep my account open. I'm going to make a lot of changes on my Fiverr thanks to this particular thing. I'm not going to do narration anymore. There's no point. I'm not going to do 450 words for $5.
Do small stings. Dude, I'd say like small little snippets of stuff that you can easily get out. For like for $5.
But the pressure to, because level 1, level 2 looks so much more appealing. They're charging $15, $25, $100 an hour.
It's a honey trap, though.
Right.
To me, it seems like a honey trap because they're dangling these wonderful things in front of you. You just got to work a bit harder. You just got to do that little extra mile, and it's like, by the time you put all that effort in, you're going to be exhausted. And you're going to be like flat out tired all the time.
Me, clear expectations are the key to success in any kind of working relationship. And if it moves or is unclear, and then someone's like that, it's kind of why I got fired from my one job the day after my grandfather died, which is all you need to know about that boss. She's a bitch.
Oh,
nice.
But even more telling is there was never like she would text me at 10 o'clock at night, like, oh, I need this done. And then, you can't work with those people.
No.
Right.
Let's catch up with chat real quick. I'm sure this is going to be a net of folks doing stuff for friends to get higher scores. That's, absolutely. I mean, you can totally weigh yourself in Fiverr if you, hey, buy me something, rate me well, and totally cheat that particular system. The system, it's a system that rewards being able to manipulate the system, not the quality work. 100% Burnham. So buyer beware when it comes to you guys. I mean, like I said, I'm going to revamp it. I'm going to rethink it. I've been at it for a while. I have more experience than when I first made it a year ago. I'm going to try to keep to like the call outs that we've seen or insist that somebody lets me try out their script before they buy the thing, because otherwise it causes these particular situations, and I'm not looking forward to giving that another shot. Obviously, I'm not going to badmouth this guy. If this is working for them, they're an established YouTube channel too. They're doing well. Congratulations to them. This just obviously was not a time that was going to work out for me.
And these happen, and it probably won't be the last time as well. So it's an up and down. Things happen, just so long as you, I don't know, get yourself out of it quick enough.
So buyer beware when it comes to that particular one. So that's something to think about. But I think with that, we're going to start closing things up. Wonderful intro, Dorino. Loved all the work that you put into it.
It was a lot of work, and there is going to be a part 3.
Oh.
And this one's going to be an hour long. No, I'm just kidding.
That's fine. We can just be a peanut gallery. Yeah. I do hope you all,
15 minutes,
especially you and Renara, consider doing these as like little radio type of play things and just put them up on your channels.
I have an idea. It's like Dragon Age and Mass Effect, the 2 universes that are going along at the same time.
Ooh.
I love it. That's gonna. I'm writing that in now. I'm somehow getting. I'm doing that now.
So I have the duty of doing the intro for next week. I've already got a very good idea based off of my last couple of weeks, I think. Because I'll be honest, when it comes to the voice acting stuff, I've really been down. Especially these last couple weeks with what happened there and another thing that's been going on the side. I really haven't had time to go in the booth, and I think it's time for me to vocalize that in an intro. So those of you that I've asked for help from before, expect to see something from me, and if you want to help out, let me know. I'll be more than happy. If there is a topic, or if you have an audition that you would like us to listen to, ColdReadthePodcast@gmail.com. Walter took us up on that offer 2 weeks ago. Hopefully he got the audiobook that he was working on. If not, hopefully he moves forward and he enjoyed it. We're not hard on people.
No, we're
No.
lovely. And if anyone is on a project or considering a project that you want a second opinion on, and you don't have anyone to like ask, you just email us and we will discuss it and we will help. Because I don't want anything like what happened to me to happen to anyone, really, to be honest. So if there's ever any projects, just email us and we will give our input and we will give feedback, and we can maybe even explain a few things that might be legit or might not be. So just email us, basically.
Yes.
ColdReadthePodcast at
Send us a
gmail.com.
telegram.
Yes. Fax, telegram, email.
Send a raven.
I mean, that's what we're here for, to help build the community. So yeah, anything you guys have for us, whether it be auditions to review, questions, concerns, whatever you have, send it over to us. We'll definitely squeeze it in.
Yeah.
Wink.
But until then, keep those auditions going. We will all see you next time. Thank you for being here. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.